Hi there. So in this video, you'll see that I've added this text here, first person mode, and added some comments there as well to sort of guide the user in terms of how to interact with the scene. I think we're going to need that. And that's simply based on this function for first person controls. And if we go into a function, you'll see this section that has the div, create elements line there that creates actually a div, and then I sort of use that same div to set the style of the location of the text, and then at the end on line 3 to 9 I sort of add the text inner HTML text. So if I comment out line 330, you'll see that it goes off screen, and what you just have there is first person mode. And if you look at the entire line, you see that that's what's missing. Now if I uncomment that, you see that it comes back online. Now, the same thing goes for the other control that we have in place. Uh, if I decide to comment out the first person controls, for instance, you'll see that the text goes off, but then also the camera is no longer under the control of the first person control script. And then the camera is actually placed in some location in the scene. Now, if you go to change the camera position within the code, what we have there is 55.8, and suppose we change that to the center of the scene, that's 000. It's not going to be very nice to see actually, because camera will be basically on the floor. But what if I raise the camera a bit by 20? It's still pointing in the wrong direction. That means we need to do some form of rotation. But instead of doing all that, probably let's go back to what we had before and then work with the controls. So if you look back to where we had the first person controls called, I have the object controls, and if I uncomment that, you'll see that object controls text comes on as well, and it says use only the mouse to navigate and look around. But I feel that there's probably a bit more to add to that, because you basically use various buttons on the mouse to sort of rotate, pan, zoom in on the object controls mode. So, I mean, looking at the way you use the mouse here, you see that there are various other things, and this is just using the middle mouse button to scroll in, left mouse button to pan, and right mouse button to pan, and left mouse button to rotate. So what I'll do is I'll go to the code for the object controls and try to modify it. And you see how this modification affects what you see on the screen. So I'll just duplicate line 352 and sort of cut out what on the remaining of the line after the object controls mode. And then in the lower line 353, I'll simply make a few changes, but then you'll see that line 353 replaces line 352. So I'll just add a plus sign. So what you now see is you see double object controls mode, but what I'll do is delete the object controls mode there, and then we can duplicate that line as well, and then replace the text, correct the text. So we're going to sort of split the controls, left mouse button, middle mouse button, and right mouse button. I'll just put a line break at the end of this line, and then move to the next one. Now we have the two texts on different lines. Now we could sort of modify the text and sort of use the mouse to, or use the mouse left button LB to well, we could say rotate. We could call that rotation. So we could put there to rotate, and I'll just do a copy of that and paste in the next line, and use middle mouse button. Well, I mean, it's up to you to decide to write it in full. I'm using the short form here. So the middle mouse button to zoom, and then duplicate the line again, and right mouse button to pan. But this, both of them are on the same line, so I'll just copy the line break and put it in here. And then you have the instructions basically underneath the object controls mode. Now what I could do is probably look at replacing the short form of the letters LB. Probably if you wrote it in full, let's see what it looks like. Left button. Yeah, and I think it's all right. There's no space, so just change this as well to middle button. And then the third to right button. And it seems it's all right. So the user that sees the screen basically sees object controls mode and then sees instructions there. I guess we could as well sort of change the font of the top text as well. It seems to be large. So I'll change that to 90. And I guess the font is sort of better. So basically you see how the text is added. So basically if anyone sees this view, what it gets to see is the text that gives them the instruction of how to interact with the scene. Of course, definitely in other applications there'll be larger, there'll be more complex text to put in there. But ultimately it's important to have that. So we'll probably go back into the first person controls. So I'll just comment out the copy controls and I'll comment the first person controls. And then what you'll see is that you can actually navigate this scene with your mouse. Left mouse button takes you forward, right mouse button takes you backward. And you could sort of change the look, the rotation speed, that's the look speed. Change it to 0.2, which is quite slow. So if I change it to 0.9, it'll be faster. I think it comes to what kind of experience you expect your players or users to have when they interact with this scene. So this is a bit faster, but I could change it to something less, say 0.07, and see, and that looks all right. So if we decide to navigate with this particular setting and we move around, an alternative to moving around is actually to use your arrow keys and the mouse to rotate. So the arrow keys, the up arrow key takes you forward, down arrow key takes you backward, left right makes you pan to right or left. Not really pan, it just moves the object, the camera. But it's a sort of better experience really when you do that. The first person controller mode just allows you to move around the scene like a normal player, and you can use both the mouse and the arrow keys to move around. So this is sort of fits a gameplay mode basically. So a few parts of the scene probably have a few glitches we need to fix that has to do with the faces and interaction between different meshes. So basically in the next video we'll probably going to be adding items into the scene. I will probably also need to look at changing the material on the ground, and later we'll sort of move ahead from there. See you there. Cheers. Bye.